Hello everybody, welcome back to Burnt Church. I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm going to bring you along with me today, starting our sweet potato slips. I'll show you how I do it here, and it's worked for the last several years this way. It might be something that you want to give a try. If you're new here, I'd like to ask you to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, either one. It would sure help us, and I would sure appreciate it. We're going to use some Electroculture on these sweet potatoes. Maybe it'll make the slips a little stronger and have more roots. Electroculture works to some degree on some things. I'm not no expert at it here. I've been trying it for the last year or two, and I have seen that on some plants it works. But we're going to use it here starting these sweet potato slips. I'm hoping that it'll make a healthier slip with more roots. We've got Electroculture here on these free purple lettuces. We made a video about these back earlier. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try to put a card in this video about it. This is the big tub I start my sweet potato slips in. I'm trying to refresh it. It's too heavy for me to load in the back of the mule. So we're getting some of it out and putting it into these buckets before we can put it up here in the back of the mule. And as I'm doing that, I'm using some of this triple 13. Now this is not triple 15. I'm adding it to it like this. We're gonna move this big tub up by the shop, put it against the wall where it'll warm up, and I'm gonna put a glass over the top of it. That way them sweet potatoes can get real hot and they'll start slipping. I know a lot of people don't like the granulated fertilizer, and I've talked about that a bunch of times. I'm just not set up here to do natural fertilizer. Now I'm working on it. I've got chicken manure and I'm working on compost piles, but as of right now I have to use this granulated fertilizer. And this will make all the slips that I can use, or it has in the past. If everything goes right, it will. We're gonna try something a little different. I usually set this tote right on the ground, but we have bad trouble with fire ants. So I'm gonna set it up on these concrete blocks this year and see if that helps any. I already see fire ants behind that glass right there. I added just a little bit of fertilizer in the bottom. Now then, we will add our amended soil back in there on top of it. We're going to use a big Electroculture coil. This one here was over 6 foot long, and it's a real heavy wire. Y'all hear that whistling? That's that guinea running around here. He almost thinks he's a dog running around here. He follows me around about everywhere I go when he's out of the pen. The way I like to start these sweet potato slips is I like to have them buried pretty deep. It seems to make a stouter stem on them, and it seems like they'll have more roots on the stem if you can have them buried deep in the soil. Now you need pretty loose soil whenever you're doing that. If not, they'll have trouble coming through it if it's compacted. You can see this soil here, it's just loose. Now it is a little dry right now, but it's not real dry. There's some moist in it. But I can squeeze it and you see it still just crumbles back apart. That's real good soil. And we've got it amended now with some fertilizer. So this should put us out some real good sweet potato slips. We didn't have a real good harvest last year on our sweet potatoes, and I haven't got a whole lot left to pick from. I usually use a lot of the small ones, but I let them get froze this year and they weren't. So we're going to have to use some of our stash that we had in the house to cook. But that'll be all right. Hey, some of these, like this one, had this damaged spot on it, but you can see, don't throw those away when you grow them. You can see this one here healed over, and it's lasted all through the winter, all the way to this spring. I do have a few small ones in here. This here is usually the size that I use when I make slips. Our Electroculture, we're going to put it in the back of the container because we're going to have a glass laying over the top of it. But we're going to have to leave enough space to let this Electroculture stick up out of the container. So what I'm going to do is pull out way down deep. Now, if you remember a while ago, I had a lot of fertilizer down low. I done that on purpose. That's the way I want the roots to go, is down. I want them to go down in there looking for that fertilizer. Once I get the sweet potato in there, we just cover it up. I'm going to dig out another spot over here. I try to space them out just a little bit. If you don't have room, that's fine too. It's just a little more trouble separating the roots whenever you get ready to plant them. I've seen people lay them in different ways. I like to just lay mine down flat. I'll get a couple more, we'll scatter around in here. But that amount right there, if they do right, then will give me all the slips I'll need. I got two more pretty big ones. This one here's got a little bit of a bad place on it, so I'm going to use him. It takes pretty warm soil to get these started slipping. This is March the 6th, I think, and we're in West Middle Tennessee. These should slip by the time we get ready to plant them. Now we need to add the Electroculture coil. Everything I understand about Electroculture, it says you want it on the north side. This is the north side. Now then, we need to water this in and put the glass over the top. This is rainwater. I don't really like watering with city water. That's what we have here. If you have well water, that would be all right, but any watering I do, I like to do with either rainwater or I go to the creek and dip up some and bring. I didn't show it in the video, but this bin has holes in the bottom to let the water out. It'll hold about 1.5 inches or 2 inches of water. Any water above that, it goes out. know that looks like a lot of water, but it'll be fine by the time it absorbs all the way down to the bottom of this. Now, I'm going to add the glass to the top. Now I had to put a weight on here so it don't get blown off. This glass works like an oven. When that sun gets on it, it's going to heat that up. I'm not real sure, but I think it's somewhere around 80-something degrees that you need sweet potatoes to start sprouting. Now don't hold me to that, but that's what I'm thinking. So we've got these ready now. All we got to do is keep an eye on them a couple times a week, add a little water to them, and just watch them. A few weeks from now, they should start slipping. Well, maybe this will help somebody for the things that we have coming, or the things that we could have coming. In my opinion, you're going to need to grow your food to feed yourself and your family. And the more you can learn right now during the good times, well, if you call it good times, but I reckon, as a person told me one time, any day above the ground a good time. And he was right, but inflation is going wild. Our food prices is going sky high, and I'm afraid that it's going to get to where you can't find food, and when you do, you're not going to have the money to be able to afford it. You learn the things that you need to know now on how to grow and how to reproduce the things that you do grow. It's more than just growing a seed. We need to learn to grow that seed and to harvest the fruit from it to reproduce for the next year, if that makes any sense. The more we can do that and the less dependent we are on the system, in my opinion, the better off we are. But I hope this helps somebody, and I thank you for watching. I pray God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one.